Yeah, that meant peace from both sides, from the what looks like an upside down pyramid. I think I'm not hallucinating. It is an upside. It's an X. What does it look like? An hourglass? Would they say that we're stuck with time and that time is working against us? This is just a comment and thoughts about the term rebellion compared to revolution and how they tend to link to one another without being necessary for one another to exist or depending on one another. Um, it's just that I've been questioning whatever thing or instance that would have got viral or really, really popular and spread out really quickly, like Anonymous, that in the first side, if what I remember of their videos looked like they were actually trying to awake and to get the real lies to be realized, the real lies. So I don't know. I'd say fuck Anonymous because like play with the love just to make sure there's no hidden bad intentions. Because sometimes once they get us going, then the lead is taken and it goes the wrong way. It goes to destruction and rebellion. And I was wondering, what are we supposed to rebel against? Uh, is it our state? Are we supposed to start wrecking everything and disturbing? Because I'd like to question the fact of disturbing also. I think manifestations do have an effect until they're wrecked by wreckers and black blocs and fascist anarchist instances, because anarcho-fascism exists because they tend to blend in like mockingbirds and copycats and become anarchists or become like what we want because they infiltrate. They just copy whatever way we figured out being against them. Well, they'll become that again. And it just goes round and round and revolves and revolves and revolves. That's the revolution. They've been revolving nonstop. But we've been just being fucked the whole time. We managed to start getting on top. So that's what I want to talk about a bit. And I did this. I'm having trouble with my printer. I thought it would be a good time to commemorate Crass. And it says rebellion with a chaos sign and then a wrench in a hand for the revolution. It had colors, like the rebellion V was blue, and the S and the revolution was red. Then N was powder blue, Arch was golden, IHA was red with the R, ND was I think just red, and ND peace was pink, U are black, and whatever. So that was just to teach people that there's anagrams and codes in posters and albums, in art. There's a language being spoken. It's the language of the revolution. This is how we communicate with color codes and bird language. That's the language of the revolution. It's been kept silent and used by right-wing extremists lately. It's probably been used by the Christian Catholic Church in Rome to spread their empire back then. Because whoever took the power had the power of alchemy, of the mantras and power in words, and were able to change the effects power words would have also, that would affect people's mind without them noticing they were being affected in a psychic or telepathic way. So the thing is if I look at the definition of rebellion, it says action de se rebeller, de se révolter. So it's the action to rebel ourselves and to revolt. But revolt also seems like an outburst that got out of control kind of thing. A revolt, it can be somebody just screaming, but it does disturb and it is aggressive and tends to be violent, a revolt. And then it says ensemble de rebelles des sujets en état de révolte. So it's the mass of people that are rebels that are subject to a revolt. It's to take contacts with the rebellion. It's also a noun. It's a verb and a noun. Then it's an attitude of opposition, of revolt, and indiscipline. So, and then, the indiscipline, I've always questioned the use of undiscipline or of what you call civil disobedience, or the levels of civil disobedience, because it is necessary, because it doesn't take much to disobey, because there's so many laws nowadays that you're almost always disobeying just by manifesting. So it is necessary not to be afraid of laws and to disobey to a certain point those laws. But where I question myself is, what use does it have to push as far as to provoke physical conflict and police brutality and all that? I can understand that if the police starts, people will want to defend themselves. But I would just say, like, try to peacefully resist, and the beatings are going to be taken in consideration and going to make the news. And try not to get beaten, and do not confront the police. It's just wanting to lose. They are trained and equipped to deal with this type of situation, and if they fail, army is there to take over with tanks and artillery and whatever, and snipers and all that you want, and there's even secret services. So if you really want to lose, well, go rebel. You know, it makes me think about mutiny. Okay, and then there's a infraction commise contre l'autorité publique consistant en attaque. So it's the infractions that are done against the public authority consistent in an attack or a resistance with violence or means towards certain function officers or public function officers executing laws, and those are against orders and orderings of the public authority, mandates, or the execution of a decision in justice. People might rebel against that, but all you have to do is to manifest. You don't rebel and destroy. That's the trap. And those things that go viral, well, what caught my attention the first time with Extinction Rebellion is that word rebellion seemed a bit aggressive, because we don't have to get things to be any worse than they are right now. All we have to do is get people aware and governments changing. And the only thing you'll get with a rebellion is a government reacting and shutting up and killing the movement and putting an end to it until a mistake is done by the resistance that will serve to blame them and to degrade them in the news the next day, and just put the whole movement off and discredited from public opinion and all that. And whenever there's wreckings with all those grandmas and grandpas and normal laid back people and bourgeois and whatever. Well, they all turn against whatever starts destroying their beautiful country and their beautiful conservative or liberal government that are all both liberate libère Al is always doing bad things, but they want to liberate liberal. Justin Trudeau is really popular, but he's still running after a pipeline. And he's a liberal. That means that they're going to be they wanted to put a tax on carbon. That doesn't help the ecology at all. It just helps the budget and helps their companies solve the problem. They're favorizing a distinctive elite with their decisions, and they're all benefiting of paradises to run away with their cash. So don't venerate Justin Trudeau that much, because they won't act for fiscal avoidance and all that. That was just a parenthesis. So rebellion. I'll read you. And then there's a revolution. That means it's an orbital periodic movement of a celestial entity. That totally concerns us. In particular, a planet or a satellite, blah, 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 and a preponderant mass, period to movement, period of revolution. Well, they're revolutionary. Why don't we revolutionize too? And then it's a movement of an object around a central point or an axis, still in space. Oh, and it can be a sudden, they say and violent, but I would exclude violence, because the revolution has been fucking us from underneath, the right wing and the fascism and all that, and they never became violent, and they even stopped beating people, and they became what we wanted them to become, and just continued on being fascist and taking control of whatever situation we managed to stabilize, and to turn it back to that fascist conflictual game again. So there's no violence in their revolution, and they almost spread fascism all over the world, and nobody even noticed that was happening because of dictature and the pyramidal hierarchic way society was structured that would let one individual influence us all and dictate over us what our morals and interests would be. So we managed to take control of that by revolutionizing and occupying and manifesting and occupying the stage where the preachers are, the stage, the music. Metalheads got it back, and they're saying peace. And we're all saying peace, except for these viral movements that always implicate a conflict. So the revolution also means the revolutionary forces. Back in the past, yes, they did violent and civil war kind of orientated revolutions, but the act of conflict was not the revolution. That was the civil war part of the revolution. And the real revolutions, like in Russia, in Kronstadt, I think, if I remember properly, was a workers' revolution, like that fist holding the wrench. They would control and adjust the clock. That's a revolution. Take the wrench and adjust the clock. Don't break it unless it's killing you. And even if it is killing you, fuck it and love it. That's a revolution, to play with what people love from above once you took the power. Like the people in Chile, when they picture themselves sitting on the horse in the public place, that was a victory with no confrontation. Well, yeah, there has been confrontation, but they could have got away from that too. And that means that they were sitting on the horse. That means that psychic control was taken over authority, and that now them being open like Trump are able to be impeachable or just commanded. When you're up there, you can command them once you manage the revolution and get on top of the psychic mind space. So they say also that it's a sudden and passing agitation provoked in the public by something not normal or inhabituel. Pour une futaie nécessaire pour obtenir la régénération complète d'une forêt. Oh, and then they talk about regenerating a forest. It's some sort of trimming, and it separates two successive passages of a cut in the same parcel of woods. But it's funny how they added the regenerate forest in the term revolution, in the dictionary. Isn't that interesting? So basically, what's ruining everything is that word rebellion. We don't have to rebel. Nothing is attacking us directly, kind of thing. We're on top now. We just have to design our universe now. Whether you like it or not, we are going to design our universe. And we have the power. We have managed to take the power back. You got to take the power back. Not violently. They're disarming us all. We cannot face the state physically. Stop doing that. It is pointless. Kills people, the wrong people, because they're not equipped well enough. Try to go with a slingshot on a tank if you want. Ask Palestinians how good that works. You know, when they're equipped, confrontation is useless. Rebellion is dangerous. Rebellion is an outburst that's out of control, and that is confronting and overcoming something, but it's not the right way to overcome the situation, because it puts you in the target. It jeopardizes your position. You're giving them energy by attacking, and rebellion. You're giving them your magic, your intentions, whatever. Don't give them the energy and the focus they don't deserve. So a revolution is when you fuck, not just, well, yes, they actually, I got fucked by a black widow that destroyed my entire life. They took my kid. They stole the kid that was left, would have been raised in a Che kind of way, in the center, anarchist principles with power on people on top, people with power, and all the good principles of eating vegan and raw even and whatever, and biodynamic agriculture, small farms, and whatever revolutionary principle that would help were amongst the values that kid would have had. So it was a left-wing kind of socialist kid that they took away and raised in a capitalist bourgeois 1.7 kids managed bourgeois fascist family that gave her the blue. She actually became Harley Quinn. She was my little monster, daddy's little monster. So fascists have been working hard underneath. They've been copycatting. They've been becoming the way we want them to be, keeping evil intentions. So they managed with the mass to make it to the top, and they took the power. So that then they were Benedict, the blessed that dictate. But now we dictate, but we're not dicks. So we say we'll inspire you. It's a lot more polite, a lot more respectful, and a lot received a lot better as an attitude, because it's with respect, and it's just helping you feel like a king and a queen yourself. So that's the revolution. It's in your mind. It's mental control. It's psychic control. It's a collective mind space. It's people putting their minds together and creating. That's how gods get created. That's God, our collective mind space. As soon as we stop believing in it, it dissipates and returns to light until requested upon again. But it will never come back in the same, exact same shape and dimension and feeling, or whatever you may call the impression it gives, or the interrelation with that celestial entity, that combination of celestial minds. So that when you take the horse by the reins, les reines in French, it's the queens. It's the queens. You grab the horse by the queens, grab his head, copy, infiltrate, and fuck your way to the top. That's a revolution. And you don't have to sleep with everybody, but you're allowed to, and it's a really good way to kill people, is to become their wife and serve them bacon and eggs their whole life. And then a pork roast and whatever. Lots of meat, as much meat as you can to clog those arteries up. And there you go. After 10 years, you can probably just ditch them and leave with the house and the way the system works. And then with the kids also, this is not a cross. So that was what fascists was doing, is separating good couples and families. So we just have to use their methods with them and just fuck them. Revolution is peaceful. You don't. It's just the revolution. It's chaos organizing, but the chaos sustains the unity, the ring. A circle, chaos is the center. Order is what makes it a circle. P is at the base. It's the most chaotic number there is. It's P. It sustains everything. So faith in chaos. But chaos is not destruction. Chaos is the source of all creation. So everything, the space is chaos. A forest is chaos. So chaos, take that out of your mind. Chaos is not destruction. Chaos, what you destroy is the inner walls. The walls of your inner self, of the common inner self and interior of our souls, and the way we interact and the values that are inspired upon our heads, and how we help each other evolve and become more autonomous and more and stronger and balanced with the universal forces. So we all represent each other, a force that can influence the godlike entity that we create by uniting. One thing that helped them a lot is that unity was fascism. And then we ended up with United States, and then United Nations, and then New World Order. That became the new world order, our new world order. And it's a order within the mind called anarchy. Anarchy, that's why it's it's an entity. You cannot destroy anarchy. Anarchy is common sense. Anarchy is power to the people. Anarchy is in your mind, whether you want it or not. It's anarchy confronts you to yourself when you're not good. Anarchy can give you karma, can give you what you want, and it comes with a collective soul. You can't exclude souls. There's no masters necessarily. Some people could be considered as masters, but since that's degrading to, it's not really degrading a master, because a master actually gives you all he has for you to learn and respects you and takes care of you. So a master, I wouldn't desacralize that much. But if you don't want no master, then in your reality, anarchy is to please everyone with their reality. We live in each of our reality. So whatever sequence we cap at the moment we look is a part of that reality, is our slice of reality that belongs to us, that links. That's why everybody looks mad when you look at them, or that's why everybody talk to you about a certain thing when they're around you. It keeps on ringing you a bell. That's the universe talking to you. That's the collective soul talking to you. That's common sense, and that's law and order in some sort of way. Any anarchist society would need laws anyways, because anarchy, you will never, you can, well, Iceland established anarchist deputies and all that. The only problem is they tend to be on top. So what we did is we put the people on top of Trump. That's why he was being a robot and not taking care of his wife and pushing her away at first. And he wasn't even, that was a dysfunctional couple giving the whole humanity an example of how the dominant one just decides and tells her what the fuck to do all the time. But sometimes she feels really horny, so people look at how of a good fuck he has. You know, what the fuck is that? You know, so we managed to change those values and show people what good symbiotic relations go. So revolution is not chaos, does not you it will use chaos, but inside the mind it will on balance put chaos in ideas, and then let the universe sort them and link them to their strongest attributes and sequences, and make it even stronger once put in order. And order maintains itself. Because now, a way they would maintain order was by hitting the good night. On the bat, it says good night. But it also means in bird language, the good chivalry knight, the good swordsman. So that would be Batman. So they were maintaining a fascist order with fear and bullying by beating the good knight, the good soul. They all finished single and used to finish single and loving donuts or whatever, or killing themselves in love with their tobacco. But now we're trying to put we put the bad knight, and it's the same thing, same dynamic, but it's not the Christ and the true natural born leader that she bats now. She bats the rat and the burger. It's bad night time. That's what was wrong in society, is that it was written good night instead of bad night. So the revolution consists on loving it until she writes bad night on that, because that's what we love. And they will always become what we love. And what we put on love is something that they're going to add to what they love. And that's how you transform things. They might keep their evil intentions because the money they have, and the history of their companies and the function of their companies are gonna tend to want to stay the same. But we have to fuck into those and tap into those multinationals and corporations and big companies that exploit and that act like Trojan horses within our countries. All those multinationals have to go, honestly, because they're just sucking off cash and building a plastic mountain, you know. So they have to really, that's what we have to revolutionize. We have to fuck that way. We have to fuck all like right-wing extremist countries and genocidal countries like Israel. The revolution is worldwide, but don't send Colombia into a gun conflict. That is just profiting off conflict and not solving anything. It's just the best gunfighter that will reinstore the same system with the same corruption, because corruption is going to come back and tangle his bullying belly button, and then lots of cool arguments can happen where somebody is going to corrupt. So a gun conflict just puts power back almost exactly how it was, or with a variant, and then comes right back to where it was. That's not what you want. So a revolution is people getting on top and staying on top, like we did. So now we don't have to worry, and just maybe worry, try to get the right hand working, not being or working, and then get the left hand, get them going together. I see this. And then there's the bottom and the upper pyramid with up and down king. So we're on top. When they say right here, that's when it's time to revolutionize and to change the world. So when it's right here, well, don't say shit and channel truth. Go to the collective mind space and tap onto the universe and speak the truth and build our future. Do not bring the past back. It's not because violence, some violent revolution had happened. Think of it properly. All revolutions stopped once they got violent. And then they just kept fucking from underneath. So we have to be wiser than conflict. We have to stop rebelling. We cannot afford to rebel, and we're not supposed to rebel right now. We're not rebelling against nobody, except maybe corporations that don't take care of climate. Them we should rebel against, but we're gonna revolutionize instead. Nothing gets created, nothing gets lost, everything transforms, and we're in a position to transform that now. So we're going to fuck, and it's the revolution of extinction. It's Extinction Revolution. Extinction Revolution. Take rebellion out. Change the name. Change it to Extinction Revolution. Please. This is not a rebellion, says the king. Because I took the crown right now. We're all kings and queens. If you don't say shit, you get to talk on the crown. Because I'm the king on the floor. And I say so. We're all one, but I guess there's always one of them somewhere that sticks out. So I'm trying to teach you all how to stick out in each of your communities and become natural leaders. And may the force be with you and the strength to resist and to unite like united people. That's how fascism managed to go around the world, is by being united. So if the kids are united, they will never be divided. And so let's all unite. They were right. And let's be like they want. So they love us. Do the same. Just be how they want you to be. But they actually have to be how we want them to be, because we're on top. And if they want us to change, they're gonna just have to love us and make us change with anarchy, because otherwise they won't influence us if it's not done with love, because love is the press of truth. Love is a filter of truth. Love puts everything in its place, because love is the basis of all things, I think. I'd say love and light. Light loving itself gave, like Osho would say, it's this love we're all looking for, so why not work with it? So that's a revolution. Revolution never stops. It either turns one way or the wrong way, upside down. It was turning the wrong way for centuries. If we just put it clockwork. So the wrench is not to destroy the gears, because if you destroy everything, you won't be able to make new gears. You destroy the ideas. You destroy the walls within you and the barriers within you, and you transform them. actually. You're not, some people will just notice that you destroyed them, but actually what happens is they get transformed. Everything transformed. Nothing disappears and nothing appears. You know, it's just a transformation of ideas. It's the mattress, our creation. We're eternal. So let's revolutionize to eternity and tap onto the universe and get to know soul, spirit, and essence. Plants have souls. At least they don't mind if we feed ourselves. Try to go vegan. Vegan, we need vegan bodybuilders showing off their muscles. And then, so let's show them what to love. Let's give them stuff to love and to love them all. Just say it on the love. On. Everybody has to go on and realize you must awake. If we're all awake, we can use guidance and influence things the way we want them. Build, follow love. Everybody needs the love. So put what you want on the love. That's a revolution. Get on top and love. It's as simple as that. No breaking, no nothing. Don't do anything that will cost the state. The state's not your enemy. It's badly administrated. You will still need a state in this world where money still exists and where exchange is necessary. And then you need to sustain that budget. So you need people dealing with that because there will always be a budget. Unless you want to go back to clans batting each other's heads off and always fighting with the supremacist clan with all the guns and the H-bomb, watching and starting to decide on who will survive again on top, like he's doing with Africa. He was doing with Africa. So you don't want to go back to clans and civil war and chaos that much. It would be everybody that's sick would have no more medication. It's not an intelligent way. It would create black summer, or black winter, or black year, black New Year. No, just Black Monday is enough to see how people can go nuts for material. Even imagine if it's for saving their lives and because they're hungry and that they've never lacked anything. So somebody that always had what he needed, take one of those things away. You just lost him. He's just destabilized all of a sudden. You cannot exist no more. There is something wrong, something missing. Their reality is turned upside down. Imagine if it's food. Because of bees disappearing because of Monsanto and their chemicals. So fuck Monsanto first. And Bayer, they're putting all that chemistry in your heads with this. And they used to kill Jews. So we got lots of work worldwide and within each of our communities. And governments that are more social democrat, we should be prioritized, but with power maintaining the psychic control on top of everybody. Because we're all one, eh? So one knows is one knows. And if one knows, well, it's because everybody knows. So everybody must knows. So I'm kind of going around. So that was my point of view. And about all that manifestation, it's okay to disturb a bit because you need to poke their balloon a bit. You don't want to burst their balloon. You want to tint it. You want to color the light shining through it so they see and understand your point of view. You don't want to make enemies in a revolution because you'll have to fight. That's not good. You want to love. You want two worlds to collide and become one and mix with chaos. And reestablish order and balance, and where everybody wants to feel good, feel comfortable, and live joy and valorization and whatever they like. So we should put those things ahead, except for the things that implicate doing evil things. And anarchy will maintain. And after a while, we won't even need laws with anarchy, because the moral coming from above is going to be stronger, and the common sense and evil will dissolve with love and taking jealousy away, breaking the original trilogy and putting it back to dualism, one with one. That means that everybody gets their pair, so nobody falls in love with the same person, because the only way that can happen is because of the looks. Because if you fall in love with the person, only one person falls in love with the same person. You won't get three people in love together anymore. It'll be with your girlfriend or boyfriend or your soulmate. So the trilogy of the one guy for two girls, the dominant, non-dominant, that was the origin of evil. It was the jealousy from not having what you want and seeing, and then the other one being in a position to hurt you with showing you things that hurt you. And then there's this conflict and ideas and opinions and influence that start to go the wrong way with jealousy. So the jealousy has to disappear, and the trilogy is no more. The Trinity is no more, except for family, whereas parents, kids is the only Trinity that exists. And then the trilogy of the Christians, their trilogy in their cage, where the Christian cage sits and needs to change and to open up truth, and the apocryphs and all the extra writings have to come out, and the truth has to come out for us not to destroy all that, because they're lying. So we shouldn't destroy those beautiful buildings either, even if we're against religion, because they could be used for homeless, and so they're expensive to sustain, but you know what I mean. So there's lots of things to do. Use your imagination, and Greta, for the love of God, call it revolution. Maybe it's because of your Finnish language or whatever, that the definition, the translation was rebellion to what you wanted, but it's a very bad idea. We're not in a time where we have to deal with a outbursting rebellion. It's totally not time to rebel. You never should rebel. You always have to love. So it's a revolution, it's anarchy and peace in your mind. So I've repeated myself a lot. So peace to you, Greta. I admire all the efforts you've been doing. But please stop, remove rebellion. Rebellion is no good. Rebellion brings conflict and trouble. And it liberates an energy that is ego-related. But it's a liberation. You know, you express yourself by manifesting and coloring the walls and taking the streets peacefully. Paint. That. Try not to destroy public infrastructure like they were doing. Just paint on broken stuff, or express your when you tag something, you put your energy there. It becomes a portal. We have to retake the streets and retake the power. So that's the revolution, and it never stops. A revolution never stops. It's just that either you're fucking or you're getting fucked. So try to stay fucking. May as well be fucking than dying, don't you think? So fuck your way to the top if you want. Just fuck all, fuck the system, fuck what's wrong, fuck whatever you want, it will get better. Just fuck it, okay? So peaceful fuck everyone.